sorry, connection's still a little rough here. I don't feel like maybe I need to have certain types of carbohydrates or snacks. I don't feel like I need to have dessert every day or need to have chips every day. But if there's a bag of chips in the house, I can kill it, and typically I will. Um, it's not something that I crave, but if it's there, it's hard for me to stop once I start, if that makes sense. And so that's something I've identified for me as a trigger food or something that I have to be careful about. Um, so I'm sure there are things that fall into that realm for you as well. For maybe for you, it's we were joking today on Facebook, in our private group with about cake and ice cream and things like that. Ice cream is one of those things that is something that, for me, if I buy it, I better buy a small container because it's easy for me to not be able to let it sit there, um, and just have a little bit. That may work for some of you. That doesn't typically work for me. Again, it works for Gina. It works for many people. It doesn't work for me. So you have to find those things that do work for you and find those things that don't work for you, and write your own playbook. And I'm really dancing around the issue that I think will really kind of put it into perspective for you, because it is uncomfortable for me to talk about, because you do feel hypocritical in some of these situations. And the first year of our business was an incredibly stressful time for me, and I'm I just see Jesse's comments about pound a bag of chips. Same thing. I feel your pain. But it was very stressful in that first year, and not that it's not now. I still carry too much stress, and I need to learn how to better handle that and manage that. But I've found that while I haven't done a good enough job of stress management and preventing it, how I handle it is better is when it relates to food, if that makes sense. So this will really put it into perspective on how bad it was at times. And this wasn't all the time, but it was way more than it needed to be. There were times, oh my God, this is really uncomfortable. There were times that in the middle of the day, I was at the gym at 4:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't going home till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. And so I would get up, train the morning sessions, get my stuff done. So midday I'm hitting a wall. I'm tired. I'm not getting enough sleep, and I know how important that is. And all of a sudden the middle of the day, and it's like I have so much to get done yet before the afternoon comes, and then at the end of the day, it's vacuum, it's clean up, it's get everything ready for the next day, rinse, repeat, and let's go. There's times where I don't know how I did it, but I didn't have a choice at the moment, and you just grind and you make it happen. If it's important, you're going to make it happen. But that middle of the day, I'm hitting the wall, and your anxiety is there, and all of a sudden, you think that food's going to solve that situation. I'm sure many of you have been in that boat before, where you think that having something is gonna take away the stress in the moment or whatever, and we all know that that's not the reality. Typically, the things that we look to in those situations too are not the best choices. It's sugar, it's cookies, it's cakes, it's chips, it's all those snackier junk foods typically. And for me, it's same boat. As I had joked again on that earlier conversation we had today, ice cream is probably my dessert of choice unless there's something else that's really high quality of some other nature. I'm not going to discriminate against a awesome brownie or anything like that. But if all things being equal, if we're talking about the highest qualities, probably ice cream is my dessert of choice. And so it was that was one thing that I would turn to. I'm like, okay, I'm fried. I just need a break. I need to get out of the gym and let's go to Culver's and get a turtle sundae because that's gonna solve it. Um, did I enjoy it? Yeah, but that didn't solve the issue. And there were times where my anxiety was so high, my stress was so high that I had one, and then I'm like, it's the same thing with the bag of chips phenomenon. It's like a little is not enough, and you're just looking for more. You're just looking for more. So I drove to another Culver's. This is not a one-time thing. It's happened multiple times. Hasn't happened in a long time, I'm happy to say. But I would hit one, hit another. I think 2 or 3 times I did the trifecta. So hopefully none of those of you that are clients ever hits the trifecta at Culver's. 3 turtle sundaes in less than an hour at 3 locations. Pretty sure that's a record if anybody's counting out there. Not sure I actually did it in under an hour, but it probably was close at times. And I think that only happened twice. But still, regardless, like even if it's once doing that out of stress, that's not a good reason. If you really want it, if you really want to treat yourself and you want to enjoy a dessert or enjoy a snack that you enjoy, go for it. But if you're doing it out of stress, and you're doing it when you're not hungry, that's when it becomes a problem. And gas stations were killer for me for a while too, because the same thing. I could just go run to the gas station and get a snack, and it may turn into a crappy donut. Well, there's times where a donut turns into 2 donuts, 3 donuts, 4 donuts. I know I've 6 in a sitting before. Again, this is not something that's happened in a long time, but same thing with the Culver situation. I know people always joke, the development in Sheboygan that, it's going to be another Quick Trip. Well, same thing. I can make the Quick Trip circuit as well. Because you're embarrassed that, hey, you don't want to, you feel like you need to have more, and you don't want to go back to the same place and be like, this crazy guy was just here. Like, wasn't he just here? Or like I'm, wearing my Fit Body gear and I gotta cover up my logo in the drive-through, or I gotta put a jacket on, or change, take off my polo so that I just have a white T-shirt on. How embarrassing is that, or how ridiculous is that? I shouldn't feel embarrassed that I'm making that choice if I want it. We're all human. Fitness professionals like dessert too, and we eat dessert. It shouldn't be all the time, and it shouldn't be out of stress. So, really that's what I wanted to share tonight, was that, we have our struggles as well, and that sometimes you never know what somebody else is going through behind the scenes. And, so don't feel like you're alone if you're struggling through some of those things. And if you do, have questions on how to get through it, or how to manage it, or how to do better, ask us questions. Find somebody else. It may not be something that I struggle with, but I can guarantee you I can, probably connect you with somebody else who is going through or has gone through the same thing and has found a way to overcome it. And, there's a million different ways to get to your goal, and it has to be the way that works for you. Everyone always thinks that there's, it's like, just do this and it's gonna work. You're gonna lose that fat, and you're gonna get to where you want to go. And it's not that easy, and we all want it to happen now. And off on a different tangent, but I've been working on some particular goals myself, and really post-wedding, really dialing in what I need to do for me to get to my goal, because I need to be really, really on track for it to happen. And and Gina probably gets sick of me whining about it, but it's just some of you, it's like nothing's happening, or it doesn't look like anything's changing, and the scale doesn't, where I'm at, the scale is not a good indicator. Like it's gonna, be 5 to 10 pounds here or there. Whenever I get to where I want to be, it might not change at all, and that's fine. So for me, it's body fat percentage. Well, you don't see body fat percentage every day. You don't check it every day. It's not as easy to do as step on the scale. I probably should take pictures of myself daily or weekly to measure my progress. I don't do that enough. It's just looking in the mirror, and we all know what that can do to you as well. And there's days where it's just, you just want to say, and pardon my French, but fuck it. Like nothing's happening. I'm never going to get there. And, today was one of those days I woke up and like, I can tangibly see that progress, and I know that it's happening, and I know that I just gotta stay on track. And if you have a bad day, or if you have a weekend that gets a little out of hand, just pull it back on and get back on track, and realize that in the long run, it is that consistency that's going to deliver you to where you want to go. And it's that learning and that growing and that figuring out your playbook that's going to do it. For me, it's been, it's been years of testing and trying and figuring out things that for me, and in the last few months, one thing that I've been doing is, we have some clients in our 12-week program that are working with something called ProCoach, which is a nutrition software and curriculum from Precision Nutrition. And I'm kind of coaching myself through that program. And, the eating slowly and the paying attention to how I feel, I'm kind of brainwashing myself to pay attention to that. And I think that's been a game changer for me. And being accountable to someone else. I'm working with a friend of mine, and I'm in a contest with my mastermind folks. Probably not going to win that, but hey, we've got a couple weeks to dial in yet, so we'll see what happens. But regardless, it's helped me stay on track. So, finding those people that can hold you accountable. Those of you who are boot campers, certainly, lean on us for that accountability. Lean on those people that you see consistently in your sessions. Get to know them, and if you don't see them for a couple days, ask them where they're at, ask them what's up. It's important to come from us, but it's even more powerful sometimes when it comes with you guys within each other. And we see that often. People will tease on Facebook, oh, where's so-and-so been? Or, we haven't seen you, or when are you going to be back? That helps, that to know that other people care, and they do, and you have to find those people that support you. Not everybody has that support system at home or at work. And so if you don't have that, ask us for help in how we can help you manage those situations better and learn how to navigate it more easily, and lean on us and lean on those people who have the same goals and have the same mentality as you. Because social support is so important. None of us can do it alone. It might be possible, but it's damn hard. It's hard enough to do it with support and with help. So that's about all I got for tonight. Feel free to comment below, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or certainly private message me. Email, call, text, for those of you that are clients, post in the Facebook group, let us know. But if you're struggling with something, if you have a question, you have a concern, don't sit on it. Know that there's people out there that want to help you and that can help you and support you. So thank you. Have a good night.